always put it on my calendar.
Usually he's really good about it. I
I
never
closed a
write
couple minutes early and changed my clothes.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. If everyone would like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Luckett and Farley, who's up?
Welcome everybody. Good to see everyone again. Again, my name is Matt Mello. For those of you who don't remember,
Chip. You can see better.
Well, I could see better.
Well, it's important that you see.
Well, I do want to see. I also want my Coke.
Sorry.
Look at this, full service. Thank you, sir.
Alright,
Thanks.
so yeah,
You can't
good to
see
see
from
everybody
up
tonight. With me, I have Tanner Pruitt, and Nave Sirik, both planners and landscape architects on my team. You met them early on in the kickoff meeting, so you're gonna see a lot more of them now in all of the projects. Curtis, who's gonna be taking over phase one as part of the construction documents, you'll start to see them later in phases. This is still planning, and so, these are my team members for that. So today, we are going over, phase one and phase two. I wanna make sure that everybody understands that we are really trying to pull these two projects apart. They're very different in nature. One's much more of a construction project, one's a more visionary planning project for the future, streetscapes for the town, mainly in the historic part of the town. So today, we're not gonna be making major decisions today. We're giving you a lot of information today. We will want some feedback on some of the things that we present, mainly on the phase one review. Phase two is much more informational, kind of a kickoff to that process, what we found out so far, much more informational, and we'll get to more of the fun stuff later in phases. So if you think about it as phase one, we're a little bit more ahead of pace because we know exactly what we're constructing and where we're constructing it. So today, phase one is mainly going through where we are doing it and some choices that we think are appropriate in terms of where we want the streetscape to be located, and want some feedback on that. Phase two is much more informational on existing conditions and what we found out. And then we'll go into appropriate locations and the look and the feel, things like that. And so, with that, I'll hand that over to Tanner and remind you that, first, we're gonna go through everything at once and then try to get feedback later, just because of timing. If we keep on getting interrupted, we'll get off course a little bit, so I wanna go through everything. So please, you'll see the presentation 100% in front of you. As you can see, they're both separated, phase one and phase two. Phase one, it's on the bottom there. We're gonna go over phase one first. So you take notes on there as you need to, remind yourself of questions, and keep that for a reminder of what we talked about throughout our process. We'll send out meeting minutes at the end of the, after this meeting. And then, same thing with phase two. So we'll go through the whole thing, take notes, and you can ask questions. So I'll hand it over for Tanner, and I'll be here kind of watching in the background and making sure he's doing a good job.
You don't have the agenda in front of you, so it is up here. Like Matt said, we're gonna run through phase one analysis first, reviewing what we've done in terms of our site walk, things that we've looked at, both in terms of right-of-way and the existing conditions that are out there, and our reactions to some of that stuff. We'll then jump into what we're calling chase analysis. It's a planning principle that we use, it's an acronym that represents some different things. We'll jump into what that means, just so that you all understand how we looked at both phase one and phase two. We'll then go to present phase one programming. Those are gonna be some themes and ideas, a route for this phase one streetscape. And it's gonna talk a lot about aesthetics, types of construction, those kinds of things. It'll be really high level. We're not getting into any sort of construction detailing just yet, just initial thoughts to get your guys' feedback on what that might look And then.
See if they locked the door.
Did it not?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's
I
fine.
just seen the, reporter here come up to the door.
Oh, was it Bob?
It was
Yeah.
unlocked.
I don't know if it's unlocked, I don't know if he went somewhere else or if he's out there or.
We might as well have it on the front page of the Madison Courier.
Hey, that's all right.
Was it locked?
Yeah.
Hey, put
Oh,
him a
wow.
chair up here by you, Jane, so he can see.
He can sit right here by me.
Oh.
Inside door was like.
Oh, gosh.
I was inside.
It was
Or you can sit
unlocked
over there
when
and
we
Tim,
came.
is Tim coming? Do you
Well,
know?
I don't
No.
know.
Okay.
I
We
know.
don't
Sit up here if he
Okay.
wants.
You want me to hold it up with somehow, or?
Oh, here, I can put something in it.
No,
We
Jane,
can
you know
unlock it.
how to unlock it? I'll do it.
Let me do it.
Okay.
It was like, I got inside, but the inside.
Well, sorry, it was unlocked when we came.
This is a closed session.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
partially closed.
Right.
No, 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 it's partially wholly open.
Bob, put your
We'll
chair
hear
up
it.
here by Jane so you
Yeah,
can see.
come up here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
oh, okay, thank you.
That'll make it easier.
Grab, yeah.
Or you can sit over here.
Well, we don't know if Tim's
Oh,
coming,
that's
for
right.
sure.
Okay. All right,
We didn't know.
No, you're fine.
you do it all.
So that's what we'll run through with phase one. In terms of phase two, which is the red color packet, that's in front of you, that'll be where we'll discuss our strategy for what that was gonna look like in terms of a planning project, the streetscapes that we've been selected, for enhancements in the future. We'll then jump into reviewing some of the analysis that we did on sidewalks. We walked these streets, took photographs, really began to analyze them in that way. That's what then introduced to you the beginning of this planning process and more of the next steps that'll come from that. And then at the end, like Matt mentioned, questions for both phases. There's just a lot of content to get through, so we make sure that we have the time for that. Questions on any of that?
Yep.
So we're starting off with phase one analysis, and that'll be obviously the packet in front of you, the black at the bottom. Our area of study is highlighted right here in this red area. That includes Coons Road, Highway 56 moving south to connect to Madison Avenue, and then it'll terminate at or just short of the college's tennis courts right there. We've highlighted some of the other aspects of town just to help orient yourself real quick, but otherwise that's our area of study there in that red highlight. The blow up here then gets into a bit more detail there.
He's
The
not-
dark orange that you
Oh,
see
yes,
is
I
the
got it.
roadway
Sorry.
itself. The light orange highlight that then runs on top of that is the streetscape route that we're looking at. So we're looking at the east side of Madison Avenue, up along the east side of Highway 56. And this is a bit of a deviation, and I'll get to some of what that means exactly, is the north side of Coons Road. I know that the south side's been discussed, it's still an option, but in our analysis, we're looking at, the north side being a bit easier to use, simply because, and I'll jump into this here. This commercial district right here just has a lot of questions and unknowns around it about what access will look like after the NDOT, fixes are made, of what future development might go in there. Seeing some of those plans will obviously help us react to some of that imagery. We can always include crosswalks across the way. Coons Road's small enough as a roadway and not busy enough at the time that we don't think that that'll be an issue in terms of pedestrian safety. But the north side allows better opportunity for connections, a bit wider of a streetscape, looking at the right-of-way in terms of maps. It's, unfortunately, the right-of-way is not a complete offset of the center line of the roadway, and so the north side has a bit more room there to work with stuff. I'll mention in that regard that Coons Road has between, what did I put my notes? Yeah, 30 and 50 feet of right-of-way. It's wider in the more rural section of it, and then begins to narrow up as you get near the intersection there. Highway 56 has obviously a generous right-of-way between 50 and 70 feet, and then Madison Avenue is more that residential typology with 30 to 40 feet, which you see is more typical there. Other highlights in terms of the analysis that we've got here is that Coons Road in particular has a lot of infrastructure that lies along it. Utilities, gas networks, electrical lines that we saw, some daylit stormwater management and ditches and stuff like that, that once we start to implement a streetscape, we'll just have to address with our civil engineers, putting some of that stuff underground as we put in new infrastructure there. The intersection right here, that's obviously where NDOT's doing a lot of their work, where our consultants are doing a lot of their work. It's gonna be signalized, it's gonna have better crosswalks, an additional lane, but because, again, part of that roadway is going to have, it's a right in, right out, I think only at this intersection right there on Highway 56. Traffic will have to deviate onto Coons Road and then onto Highway 56. So again, there's a bit of congestion that's gonna happen there, people figuring out things since it's gonna be new.
Right.
And just finding the best way to provide the safe route for pedestrians as opposed to dragging them all into that mess. We've also noticed along Highway 56 there that the right-of-way butts right up against the college's track and field network. Cross-country, yeah, cross-country network. If we want to install a streetscape in that area to mitigate some of the grading issues that are in that area, we'll just have to work with the college about the impact that we might have in that area, revising some of the cross-country network if possible, and seeing what we can fit into that area to provide pedestrians a safe place to walk besides a very busy highway. People are not going to speed limit down that area, just making sure that they're safe as they move through that area. This intersection right here at Madison on Highway 56, similar to what you're seeing along the entirety of this route, daylit ditches, there's some steep terrain there from the berm near the physical plant for the college that then tapers down into that ditch area. Just beginning to mitigate some of those issues, so that way we're able to wrap that network around, come down Madison Avenue, and connect seamlessly and safely as possible for pedestrians. And then along Madison Avenue, that's where we're seeing generous right-of-way, but narrow feeling because of all the utility poles that run down Madison Avenue on that east side, the fence of the college field that runs along there, all of it, everyone's, I think, mailboxes run along that side. So there's just a lot of things in the way that we're gonna have to work with as we develop streetscape sections. Any questions over any of that stuff?
What's a residential, you said a more normal right-of-way, what would that be on Madison Avenue, give or take?
That's between 30 and 40 feet.
So that's 30 and 40
That's what
feet.
your GIS was showing, and that's typical.
And then back on Coons, sorry, I didn't
No,
write
it's
it.
fine, between 30 and 50 feet.
That's 30 and 50,
Yeah.
got it, thank you.
And I would like to point out the detour would go down Greenshaw Road. We've had buses hit mirrors.
Okay.
I would point that out to you.
Yeah, no, that's good feedback on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
You said they would down which?
great. They go, if you're diverting to Coons Road, if they go down Greenshaw Road, we've had reports of buses hitting mirrors, cause it's very narrow.
Oh, the street itself?
Yeah, the street,
Okay.
Yeah.
but that's your only detour.
Yes, okay.
I just wanted to point that out. We might give a lot of publicity ahead of time, you know,
Because of that.
be careful.
Yep.
So like I had mentioned at the beginning of this, we've got Chase as our guiding kind of principles behind these. So that acronym stands for connection, health, authenticity, sustainability, and equity. We believe that these are goals for the community regardless of these projects. These are things that everyone should be shooting for in terms of how these projects address the needs of the town. Connections in this particular instance for both phases 1 and 2 are gonna focus on pedestrian connections, tying back into existing infrastructure, connecting people to places, connecting people to people, connecting across streets. You'll see, especially in phase 2, that there's some sidewalks that just dead end. So how do we begin to reconnect to other networks in town with future streetscapes? Health is gonna be all about improving physical wellness, physical activity, but also safety. Making sure that pedestrians that are gonna be using these routes are going to feel safe on them, and then they're going to want to use them in that case. Authenticity is all about the town's character, finding ways that materiality, aesthetic treatments in the future with more funding, other types of furnishings could be selected that really enhance the feeling along this streetscape. And what assets are already in town that we can draw upon for different design ideas, that we can really celebrate as unique aspects, again, especially in phase 2. Sustainability is focused on obviously regreening some of these routes, providing trees, providing some different plant material that can really enliven some key intersections, but also on the longevity of these. Making sure that these streetscapes don't negatively impact maintenance needs in your town, that these are going to be streetscapes that last, that feel like they fit into the town, and it's not some, oh God, what they just put there kind of thing. Making sure that this speaks to Hanover as much as possible in that way. And then in terms of equity, this is about promoting accessibility, making sure that people of all abilities are able to use these, that they're safe for people once areas that we may not think about all the time. One of the analysis pieces that we're looking at in phase 2 is school children. School children use a lot of these roadways to walk to and from home. The college students we know are gonna probably use the phase 1 streetscape to access the McDonald's, Taco Bell area, the Dollar General area, making sure that we're meeting their needs just the same as a family, just the same as the elderly. Okay. Continuing on with phase 1, we're gonna jump into the design models here. So there's 2 of them. There's gonna be a greenway model and then an urban model. And these are the 2 models that we're gonna want your most feedback on in terms of likes, dislikes, things you wanna match together in that way. Again, I'll repeat, these are high level. As you can see, they're more diagrammatic, more colorful in that regard. It gives a flavor of aesthetics, gives a flavor of what these could be like, things that they might look like, in terms of the overall construction of these. I'm gonna take us on a little journey then. I'll start up here at Kuntz Road, where it ties into the proposed and being built subdivision that's up there. We'll move along that north side, and Kuntz Road's streetscape model is here at the top. It's focusing on health. There's a lot more residential development that's occurring up here, opportunities for future residential development possibly. So focusing on health and providing a wide 5 to 8 feet pedestrian corridor right there, including a planted verge, substantial streetscape that gives families the opportunity to walk with each other, maybe on a late evening. Gives the elderly, grandparents to walk together with their grandkids in that way. Gives people that might want to bike between these different areas the opportunity there. Really making sure that people feel safe on this roadway, but also like they can be physically active on it as well. We'll come down past the commercial area here with the McDonald's and the gas station to this first intersection, intersection A. We know that this is gonna be obviously a major redevelopment that's occurring there, and we're showing, at least on our diagram here, that connection there on the north side, but there will be connections that occur across Kuntz Road down there to the south, across Highway 56 there. That'll be an intersection that is able to be used from all sides. But this intersection in particular poses an opportunity for addressing some of the riprap that likely covers the drainage way there at that property, perhaps burying that stormwater management there, so that way we can put a streetscape there, maybe open up that area so you could put signage, a gateway feature into Hanover, providing in the future a little rest area with benches, those kinds of things. Really making this feel like it's integrated into this area, and not that you're pulling into this spaghetti junction of McDonald's and Taco Bell and all those kinds of things. Really making sure it's a beacon for the town in that way. We continue on south, where our next focus is then on Highway 56 and sustainability. That's where we think this has the best opportunity for a true greenway type model. Opening up a planted area next to the roadway that just protects people from semis, cars flying by, and then 8 to 10 feet for a substantial multi-use path. That allows people to walk beside each other, bikes to go by them. It's not so much jockeying that might have to occur like on Kuntz or even on Madison Avenue. It's a much wider profile that exists there, which is why it might impact some of the cross-country track that exists there, but it's the best opportunity for a really unique and invigorated streetscape to run through this area. We've got some of the character imagery off to the side here that just gives you a flavor of how that might feel. A wide place that people are able to, meets could possibly all walk together up that way to the track for the horse. Just some really unique opportunities on 56 for that more greenway model. We then come to intersection B here at Highway 56 and Madison Avenue. Again, like I said in the analysis, beginning to address some of the daylit stormwater that's there, some of the topography that exists there, connecting to the library that sits down here on the opposite side of the intersection. Maybe this is a more wider plaza space.
What do you mean by daylit? I'm sorry.
Daylit meaning that it's it's an open system. It looks like a ditch.
Gotcha.
kind of thing.
Okay.
Sorry, all the
Thanks.
terminology.
No, that's
that
okay.
Not everyone knows all
Yep.
the time. It's on a pipe. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
You basically, cover that area, connect to the culvert, all that kind of stuff. This is an opportunity zone though to hide some of that stuff, provide some different systems there, and then maybe show some sort of plaza space, some sort of area that's got some nice benches for people to sit. Maybe one of those more signage or banners that exist there, especially wayfinding signage to indicate what else exists in the town that people could get to, that kind That then loops around that intersection there. We keep coming down Madison Avenue, and that's where we're gonna be focusing on connectivity. Connecting these residents to that streetscape, connecting the college to that streetscape, tying this into existing sidewalks that are already on Madison, that then come down to Main Street, making sure that people feel like they're already integrated into what exists in Hanover. It has a very similar corridor profile like the one on Coons Road. This one's gonna be focusing on pulling people away from all the infrastructure that lays right against the roadway on Madison Avenue, likely having to pull that fence line up against the college in a little bit more, but narrowing that roadway or that streetscape back down to 5 to 8 feet, just to get it back more to that residential feeling and fit within the right of way that exists there on Madison Avenue.
I'll preface one more
Yeah.
thing. So Ben and I talked, the main component of all these streetscapes is the infrastructure part of this, getting the sidewalks in. So all of this stuff from a planning standpoint, the budget will tell you how much you can and want to put in. So, you know, when it talks about, when Tanner talks about signage, or benches, or, you know, more plant material, things like that, that's added, it's part of our
Optional.
process. What's that?
Optionals.
Optionals, exactly. So we will make sure that the sidewalk and the width of
Baseline's
the,
there,
is the baseline, and then they'll have options to put in all those extra things as part of the process. We're showing you this as a holistic vision
Yeah.
for all of these streetscapes that go in, and then now you have once you have the design, you said thumbs up, you have, you know, somewhat of a budget to move forward with some of those extras as they come into play.
And you plan for it too. You've given that corridor there that allows you to come back in and install those additional things.
So where you've got the middle picture on the right, you say the best opportunity for a true greenway.
Yeah.
And actually, that's pretty cool,
Right?
to have plants on both sides, to have
Yeah.
trees on both sides.
Mhm.
But we could maybe say, we can only do one side right now and
Right.
do the
Yeah.
other side.
However many linear feet, it's
Yeah.
not gonna be,
You
like
plan for it.
complete
There's-
LA.
okay.
Infrastructure designed in such a way it can be added
Right.
anytime.
Yeah,
Right.
for something like that especially.
Just wanna make sure you all
Okay.
are clear on that.
Good-
We're not,
good
we're not gonna
point.
design all this, cause I don't wanna blow any budgets.
Yeah.
Cause I know there's still a second part of this of the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
We wanna implement, but there's now, like you said, there's the room to put it all in.
Mhm.
Right,
We don't wanna just be like, all right, there's your sidewalk against the road, and now you can't do anything else.
right.
Love that greenway.
So we'll move on to the second model here. This is the urban model. This, in terms of aesthetics and character, feels more like a town. This is more towny in that way. It's less so about, it's still got some of the greenway motifs that exist in it, but it's focusing, as you can see in some of the imagery here, a bit more on more of those aesthetic features, but also in making sure that people are getting from point A to point B as quickly and safely as they possibly can. The route remains the same, but I'll continue along it anyways. We're gonna be up here on Coons Road, connecting again to that subdivision. As we move along it, this time Coons Road is focusing on more of the equitability of things. Providing that same kind of, a bit wider, 5 to 6 feet there, providing a very similar idea of making sure that all people can use this, making sure it's ADA compliant, finding the path of least resistance, likely being the north side there, that just requires the simplest of sidewalks to move through there, and then providing some zones that could be for lighting one day, for more benches, especially for like the elderly and people with children to rest quickly, making sure that this meets the needs of the people that exist there today and for tomorrow. Intersection A, again, very similar kind of design ideas as to the last one, making sure that this is a safe intersection for pedestrians, crossing there on the north side. In terms of the A symbols there for authenticity, maybe there is some opportunity with this being the urban model for, again, cooler signage, maybe some sort of implementation of unique Hanover stuff that goes in there. Maybe there's opportunities, since it's close to the track area, college could put some sort of like branded benches there, those kinds of things. Continuing on down south on Highway 56, this is more about the authenticity of that area. Some really cool ways that, on the pavement especially, we could maybe choose certain areas where every so 100 feet, you've got a really unique like band of some type of paver or some type of pattern that fits into it. You can see that here with like Town Branch Commons in Lexington, a few of the other ideas that we've got up there. Some really unique ways of, whereas that was more of that true greenway model, maybe this is more of that experiential pathway that takes you from town all the way up to this area. Intersection B remains the same as it was in the last one. In terms of equity though, looking at how we connect crossings across Highway 56 to connect to the residents that live along there. But again, similar ideas of providing enough space there for future types of plaza areas, gathering spaces, those kinds of things. And then on Madison Avenue, the big one in both is connection. Making sure that we're tying thoughtfully back into the town, making sure that we're making the proper connections that we need to, and making sure that, again, people can get from point A to point B as safely and as easily as possible. Okay.
Stop, fix those spaces.
Yeah. We're gonna ask for questions at the end.
No, I was gonna do end of phase one questions.
Oh, no, that's fine then, yeah. So we're gonna go to the, I'll go to the,
Yeah.
because we've already discussed analysis, we don't need to. I'll show this one.
Yeah.
So questions on any of these two things?
I don't have a question necessarily, but I might point out to you, so this subdivision here, this new subdivision,
Yeah.
the new sidewalks are already here.
Correct.
They're gonna be into that. So I wouldn't see the feasibility in running all the way down the north side to that stop sign.
Stopping right there on the north side, connect there, where it makes sense,
I would
yeah.
Keep that in mind, because
Mhm.
I don't know why
Oh.
you want double sidewalks on both
But,
sides.
but we'll have to have some kind of crosswalk. That's a
Correct.
busy, busy road.
Correct.
Yeah, either way, if you do the stop sign or there, you have that.
And I agree,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's a
I
bit,
didn't know
one
if
of
you
our
realized that or
busiest
not.
roads.
We did see
I don't
that,
know that
yeah.
it's all the way down yet, but it will be to the end of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wait, I guess
Yeah.
we just didn't know, that with, as this gets built out, controlling how the homes are put in there, that kind of thing. It's a
Right.
narrow sidewalk already.
Yes,
There's obviously been, if you continue on the south side, we get into issues with the church and the McDonald's infringing in that right of way, conversations with that. So I think that there's an opportunity either to stop it short there, or move down to the south
Right.
side in that way.
I think as long as we have some kind of crosswalk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
you
can
have
get
signalized
across.
crossings, I've seen
Yeah,
it do that
yeah,
really well,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
so the sidewalk the town put in,
Mhm.
there's no lip, cars can drive right
Yeah.
up on it.
Mhm.
The sidewalk that the subdivision put in, we did guidelines, but it's not very wide.
No, we measured to 3 feet.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
The
Which
developer
is
put
the
in
bare
3,
minimum.
but
that
it
you
was the
need,
bare
yeah.
minimum,
so they did the bare minimum.
yeah.
Right.
So we have to likely, come through, rip that up, or,
I mean, you couldn't get a wheelchair in it.
Yeah,
it'd be
you'd have, you wouldn't wanna add on to 3 feet, it provides heaving
Right.
opportunities.
Right.
And so you wanna rip it all up and then set new.
I mean, definitely everything we put in, we definitely want wider from, like, if you went across the street there to where it starts with the new stuff you wanna
Definitely.
do.
Definitely.
What's nice about,
Bigger
if
stuff.
you go all the way, what's nice about it is that it sets up for the future, there's a lot of opportunity for growth out that way.
Yes,
There is.
So,
There is, yeah.
if you set the
If another
standard-
subdivision went over there or something, yeah.
Right.
cause again,
Well,
I don't wanna take it, but like, there's a field up there,
Sure
you
there is.
know,
and,
like-
and we need to look into changing our ordinance,
Yeah.
cause that, we went by our ordinance,
Yep, no, that's exactly right.
yeah.
Set
But
the standard.
I would suggest you go all the way to the corner where the current sidewalks
Yeah,
go, just because you're connecting to future areas.
what about where the town did, where, community crossing approved? There's no lip, you drive right on the sidewalk, I've seen it.
Thornton Terrace over there.
Yeah, well, up by Maple, Sycamore, you
Yeah.
can drive, I've seen it,
All that.
Wonder what it
Yeah.
would cost for us to,
just something.
just to put a lip or
Yeah.
something on it, yeah, we'll have to look at that.
Yep.
For another project.
So what we're doing here though is because the town doesn't wanna put curb everywhere.
Right.
Because you now have a lot of infrastructure that you're gonna have to put in terms of curb and gutter and, underground storm sewer.
Yeah,
Right,
Trying to tie that all in.
right,
That is a
monumental,
So the
monument.
curb
Yeah.
creates a lot of that need.
So
Yeah.
the curb creates,
It-
what
it
happens,
would,
water
it
comes off the road,
Yeah.
hits the curb and then drains to.
It channelizes
It's It's gotta go somewhere.
Gotta go somewhere, then it has to go to storm system underground.
Mhm.
That storm system down goes way underground, it goes to the nearest,
Yeah.
water.
Well, and on that road, we don't have that.
Street, yes.
What's that?
On that road, we've got that open ditch and,
Exactly.
yeah, it's
So what,
not good.
so what we are doing here is creating that tree line, that grass verge that
Right.
helps, and that can be planted, that can have some sort of area on it, whether it be, decorative concrete
That's a
strips or
good
whatever,
idea,
and it
yeah.
doesn't inhibit water to
Right.
utilize.
Flow
Right.
across.
The water,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
to,
I've just seen it a lot, cause
Yeah.
I drive that way.
Yeah.
I've seen the cars right up on the sidewalk, they could plow somebody down and,
Oh, yeah.
Yep, so.
People find a way somehow.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
do they ever?
I noticed on the urban model under Kings Road, there's a kind of a symbol of a lantern or lights,
Yeah.
which I don't drive on Koontz Road at night much.
yeah.
Is there lighting out there already?
No.
Yeah, well, it's not bad.
Okay.
I mean, I'm on that road quite a bit, and
They
I
do have-
can't
they do have a
see
good one
after
at the
dark.
corner down there.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I think
Lit up
we,
pretty good on
At
the
the-
corner.
yeah.
we do need to
And,
be like aware
and at
of
the end of
lighting
the
and-
subdivisions, there's light and,
Yeah.
but I'm on that road every night and it's not bad, but it
Yeah.
could be better lit with pedestrians walking now.
Right, with safety, I think
Yeah.
that's.
Well, I mean, I think we'll probably have to look at solar lighting.
Yeah, like having, a solar charged
Yeah.
light.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And you could do that in the Greenway model too. You could
Yeah.
put some lights
Yeah.
in,
Yep.
Yeah.
those are, if there's a need.
but no, I can't see and I can see fine to go down it, but it could use better lighting.
Yeah, but what lighting does is it creates a couple different scenarios. It's obviously safety for pedestrians, it's visibility for drivers. It makes it more usable longer throughout the day. If that corner continues to develop like it is, people from the subdivision will want to walk back there possibly.
Right.
There's an ice cream spot, or if
Right.
they wanna grab some food real quick for dinner.
Right.
Like.
Taco Bell at midnight.
And we will need more lighting when there's sidewalks. Right now,
Yeah.
there aren't that many walking
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Right, but we never think of today, we think of always tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right.
You gotta look at the big picture.
Yep.
And I would point out too on your health thing, and this isn't my idea, it's Chip, but we could seek the Bethany Foundation on that. That's
Bethany-
their thing, and they've already told us they haven't heard from us in a while.
Okay.
And their thing is the health.
For like funding opportunities?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
They,
yes.
when the hospital downtown, or in town in Madison sold, they set up an
Yeah.
endowment. It was $145 million. So in Jefferson County, Indiana, we have $145 million.
Well,
I mean,
and,
it's
and
tremendous
I
asset
was
to
at
the
a
community.
lunch 2 weeks ago,
Wonderful.
and they said we haven't heard from Hanover in a while, so
Yeah.
that'd be perfect
Well,
for
if it
us.
would line up with what they're trying to achieve, wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because we're gonna need some help.
So again, and now that's the opportunity for some of that, okay, we met baseline, now let's get those added pluses
Right,
and stuff, yeah.
right.
Is there any
Particular
model in particular that you all are gravitating more towards the one versus the other?
Or a mix and match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kinda what I was saying. I like the double passageway on the first model, but I think the top one on the second model would be efficient for Koontz Road. You know, I mean, it just,
No, yes,
just my opinion.
no, that's good feedback. Because of just, again, the baseline and the
Yeah.
fact that these routes, it's the same route, it kind of is the same kind of, it's the kit
Right.
of parts we're playing with essentially, so that's why mixing and matching is completely valid. yeah.
Sure.
I agree with
I
Dan.
agree, I agree.
That, I'll tell you what, I hadn't really thought about it, but a double tree, like a real greenway.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And we have, what, over half a mile of that stretch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is so important to the town. I think it would look,
Is it?
I think when you're
Fabulous.
driving
Be
through
phenomenal.
Hanover, Indiana, and you
Yeah.
see that, you're gonna
Yeah.
say,
I think it also is practical just because that area gets very little shade, so
Yeah.
if you're walking it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's hot. We're
incredible.
walking
Yeah.
around there,
That's
yeah.
true.
no, you're right. It's double the tree, it's a wider sidewalk.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's probably just percentages, it's, 40% bigger, so it's probably 40% more expensive.
I would say with the double tree, I always worry about really big trees right next to the road,
Yeah.
just being
Mhm.
kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
There's
Um,
plenty of trees out in the world that can be fit for streets,
Right,
yeah.
right.
NDOT will tell you,
And
I'm
a
sure.
5 to 8 foot space for a tree to grow, you would need smaller trees
Yeah.
anyway,
Sure.
so.
So Chip, one of the things is, along that, we'd be looking at possibly utilizing the college's land to implement that.
Yeah.
So you could really do whatever you want,
Yeah.
as long as that's
Yeah,
acceptable to the
how much of
college.
that do they wanna give up right there?
Well, it's, you all have looked at it, and I know, I think we all kind of sort of know where the fence line is, the 3-board that runs along there. How close do we get to the 3-board?
So we didn't measure all the way to the freeboard, we measured from the edge of the highway to there's a dirt line that I think kind of demarcates where people are running
There's-
between like the fenced
Yeah,
floor and
it's-
the fielded area.
It's,
It's 15 feet,
so you're talking about the edge of the road today, 15 feet into the college property?
yes.
That doesn't seem like very much to me.
It does.
I mean, I
No,
look at
but
that and think.
That would be the trustees' decision, they
yeah.
own the
Obviously, we
land.
eat into that
Yeah.
much more than that 15 feet, that's where it is today, from there to that
It's
point.
Oh,
15
okay,
feet
that's
off
fine.
of
It's
the
15
current
I'm
feet
sorry.
easement.
today, yeah,
Okay.
wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, yeah.
15 feet past the current easement through there? Or is that still within the easement?
That should,
The easement, you're talking about the right of way?
Yeah.
The right of,
Right of way is beyond where the actual roadway is.
yeah.
And then, so that's, we don't have that survey yet done, but it's probably another 10 feet.
Mhm.
And then that's where the right of way stops, and that's where the college lane starts.
Yeah.
So they're gonna already ask for an additional 11 feet for right of way along that to widen the roadway. And then you would be asking for improvements beyond that,
Mhm.
whatever that looks like.
We'd
Another-
be eating into that, the college already eats into the right of way as well.
College butts up against it.
Correct, yes.
So the road needs to be widened into the college property, number 1.
Yep.
And then number 2, even beyond that, you need 8 foot 10 inches for sidewalks, 5 foot 8 for tree berm on either side, I guess.
8 to 10 feet. That's about
So
it.
you're talking about, yeah, another 18 feet.
They'll wipe that whole
The,
cross-country
I worry
track
about
in.
if we go 10 feet, you're gonna have golf carts on it a lot.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
might
know if
have
we
to
can-
put
Oh,
up
that is 8 to 10
barriers.
feet, so.
Yeah, huh?
We could put up barriers.
Yeah, I don't know if we can help the golf carts.
This would, yeah, but what would be really helpful for me and maybe for you all too, would to see something in real time, like a section of the road, like a
Yeah.
picture with some measurements and, or to be on site, that could give us an
And
idea.
truly, the only golf carts I see around are college golf carts. So you can put out a notice, don't drive your golf cart.
You want me to do that?
Yeah,
But, I mean, the college is open to something that uses the land appropriately and for the betterment
and
of
safety.
scenic and
Yes.
safety and,
So they're okay with moving the cross-country over?
well, I'm not
He
saying
doesn't-
that.
He doesn't know.
Right, so that's why, like,
Yeah.
that's the ultimate
Yeah.
conversation
Yep.
there, is like, well, the numbers are the numbers and everything, it's
Yep.
the, well, we're eating into it regardless.
Yeah, we need to see how far it eats in, cause it sits back pretty far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Once we
So-
get the final
It's when-
survey, which
Okay.
is
They're
It's-
finishing up,
tonight.
and we should have, this week or first thing next
And we're
week.
just halfway
Okay.
through it, so if you wanna
It's
count.
What about
col-
the
it's
what about the
college
other fence
property.
part of the,
okay.
college?
The chain link fence down Madison?
Yeah.
I just push it in.
Fill you in.
I mean,
It's college property, but the trustees own it, cause we bought a house
I
here,
don't
we
think
didn't
it
buy it
would
from the
matter.
college, we
It's
bought it
chain
from the
link.
trustees.
There's not much is used there, practice.
yeah, it's
facility.
a practice field.
Yeah.
We'd have to look at how far would it push in to give you the kind of sidewalk that you all wanna see through there.
But I'm sure they'll be able to cooperate wherever they can.
Oh, yeah, no, this is,
I think when we measured, when we were out there on site, we stood here at the edge of the roadway, it was, I think, 9 feet to the edge of fence.
What about the fiscal plant right there?
Oh, up in this
Are we
corner right
talking
there.
about the football?
We'll have to, there was
The
enough room
football
there,
field?
that's
There's
when you'll have to
enough.
put crosswalks across the curb
Yeah,
two
cuts.
that's
driveways.
kinda
Yeah.
on the bottom section right up from it.
To fence
That,
it,
yeah.
runs along.
So
the
there's
road.
plenty of room right there.
And
It's really
where the
practice
fiscal
field.
plant is right
Exactly,
there.
yeah.
What do you
We'll
do?
just have to
Actually,
obviously cover up that ditch line that's right there. to be
Yeah,
able
right
to
on that
tie
curve
into,
right there, yeah.
More open and welcoming.
I will say though, right of way, we don't show them right here, but the right of way line kind of juts up into that piece across
Yeah.
the intersection there. I'm assuming it's operate like right of way would operate normally kind of thing, but, I did notice that in your GIS that jutted up into that area.
There are some utilities at the intersection where McDonald's is, that we'll have to really work around. There's the fiber connection for the college and Ivy Tech runs right through there, so.
Okay.
Which, what corner?
By McDonald's.
Yeah, it's about where the C is.
So that's why we're, it's where the C is, okay.
Yeah, the one up above in intersection A.
And that's why
Somewhere
we're
in
kind
there.
of trying to go north, it
Yeah.
gets away from all that stuff. It doesn't say that, you know, we can't use those crossings
Right.
eventually. But the main crossing, I think, being further north, where those two S's are, make a lot of sense. You're just out of the way of all the infrastructure.
Yeah.
If that's acceptable, obviously.
Cause you cut our internet connection, we're gonna be mad.
There's just some extra meetings you'll
That's
have
the
to have with
contractor
iLight
you don't
is.
do that.
Yeah, that's right.
And right now, if you went on the south side of Coons, we don't know whether or not, I mean, it would impede the parking at McDonald's,
So.
wouldn't it?
Yes.
I think that's a great discussion that I'd like to have today is this, you know, McDonald's obviously has right of way that they're using.
Yeah.
The, driveway that that McDonald's and the gas station use. the
Right.
entrance
And
there,
Subway, yeah,
that's actually Taco Bell's,
right.
so what's happening with that?
Oh,
And
the one that
then
runs up between them.
Once the new intersection goes in, McDonald's, the gas station and Subway and Taco Bell will all be going through Taco Bell's property. So there needs to be some sort of access easement or something, or land transfer, so that all works, because right now, it's basically the gas station and McDonald's and Subway are all using somebody else's property to get in and out of their property, which is not legal.
You're talking about the road that's between McDonald's and the Subway?
Yeah.
So, right here,
Yeah.
this entrance.
Yes.
Anybody using this
That's-
is using this person's property.
That is the new Taco, yeah,
Right.
the Taco Bell owns that road,
Yeah.
that finger that comes
Yes,
out.
that
So-
little stub, mhm.
So
That-
ideally, all of this needs to be cleaned up. That big
Right.
quadrant needs to really be cleaned up from a property management standpoint, which is, again, we're staying north of there.
I don't wanna touch that.
well,
Well, you-
because that would be up to them, right? We just went through that with Dollar General Market,
Yeah.
with our attorney.
So, when, I'd love to see what Taco Bell's plans are.
Right.
Mhm.
Are they using this as an entrance? Are they creating their own entrance? That's not safe, for one, having two entrances that close together.
Right,
You know, then there's another entrance for McDonald's, parking situation, where are they parking, all of that. So there's so many unknowns right here that it would be hard pressed to put a sidewalk across. all
Yeah, I
that.
always thought that McDonald's was parking on the right of way.
They are.
They are.
Yeah,
Well, so the parking, so basically
on the Coons Road right of way.
Yeah, that where you, those like angle in
Right
parking
there.
spots
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
right up against the drive-through, yeah, those are in the right of way.
I thought
according
they
to
was.
GIS, we don't know how much yet exactly until we
Right.
survey,
Yeah.
but it looks like they are in that.
Yeah, I wondered how they had that ranged like that, it's kinda weird.
When the long-term, doing it on the north side is gonna be cheaper.
Yeah, well, yes,
if it works,
the north side should, I mean, there's a lot less obstruction.
yes.
You know, going through the Taco Bell property, that's pretty easy. They could actually put in their own sidewalk, and then they could connect to the north side as well. I would love to see a scenario where we get all of these people in one room and say, what can we do to make this, this scenario safe, more, I guess more people going there, so that,
Yeah.
each one of those entities gets more people
Sure.
to it, because it's accessible to everybody.
Easy to use, yeah.
Easy
Make
to
it
use,
intuitive.
so it's
Sure.
navigable.
Sure.
So that, when the college goes up, when the college students come up there, when people come in
Right.
So all those things are addressed, so I'd love to get everybody in the town in one room, just, hey, what are we doing here? Because there's a lot going on, there are things need to be addressed from a property standpoint, from an access standpoint, just to clean it up. And then once those decisions have been made, then at a later phase, we can plan sidewalks correctly there.
Well, we can make that happen.
Okay.
I mean, I'd love to see it recorded on GIS that Taco Bell bought. I know they signed the papers, but it's not recorded.
Okay.
Takes the courthouse a while, but I can arrange that meeting. I've got their names.
Be
The
helpful every
GSI
time.
doesn't show, or GIS doesn't show easements, so there may be
No.
some easements attached.
But it hasn't shown that Taco Bell's purchased it.
Right, but I mean, did you check on easements and they don't have easements, or you're just going by what you see on GIS?
I'm just going by, well, GIS doesn't show easements,
Okay,
but I'm
yeah.
assuming there might be an easement here. I
Right.
have not seen it on a
Right.
plat.
There'd almost have to be, or like you say, it'd be illegal.
Well,
That doesn't mean it's
Well,
not.
Doesn't happen, yeah.
Could put a fence on either
but as
side.
we talked earlier, if they'd all buy in, maybe they'll help pitch in some money to help.
So,
It will clean that whole area up.
Yeah,
that would be good.
It would be good.
but I
Because
could arrange that.
What would be nice is if you have parking here and along here, then all that parking can go away, and then now you're actually coming in off of Coons Road.
Right.
Along the parking area, and then access, Taco Bell here and access McDonald's here, and then that leaves way for a nice streetscape
Sure,
along Coons.
sure.
McDonald's just needs more parking spots since you're taking it away from them.
That's right, but there's plenty of room to do it,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
long as they would.
Everybody agrees.
Yeah, cause that back side behind their property, I mean, bigger trucks park back there with trailers and everything, but you could make a lot more parking.
I wish I owned Bill Pett's property.
You wish what?
Wish I owned Bill Pett's.
I know.
In these right-of-way conversations, is it a desire as part of this project to kind of like, obviously the right-of-way varies and stuff, is there, do you want to dedicate like a true right-of-way width for some of these things? Have those conversations about, okay, we're doing these improvements, it's going to be a true 40-foot right-of-way through here, or stay within the right-of-way that exists today?
We probably have to ask Pat, our
That makes
attorney.
sense. Since the right of way does vary,
Yeah,
and say,
We were at 40, here, and oh god, now we're at 30, guess we're moving along kind of thing,
Yeah.
like.
you don't want your sidewalk to go like this, right? You
Yeah.
want it to stay a nice straight path. But in order for that to happen, you might have to take some of your right of way back
right.
from property owners.
Yeah.
Residential.
Well-
Not necessarily commercial.
But to make it look nice and easy access for everybody to get there, all the restaurants will be happy.
Yep, absolutely.
Especially with all the college people going over there,
Yeah.
I mean.
And I don't know if zoning matters, but this is crazy. Where Taco Bell bought, they can build however big they want, but McDonald's and BP couldn't. And the garage place couldn't. But, First Pace, the urgent care, they could build however big, so can the other place, cause they're zoned for that.
Exactly, yeah.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with the,
Less so on right-of-way.
yeah,
It's more about just where that property line
Right,
is.
right.
Mhm.
right. But I just think that's crazy
Oh,
down
yeah.
through there.
I mean, it makes sense too, with that kind of scenario as well, that you're seeing right-of-way so varyingly different.
Right,
From 30 feet all the way up to like 50 feet, I think I said on
Right.
Coons Road. Like
Right.
that's how small towns happen.
Now-
Like,
this is far-fetched, but what if the property, you know where the Dollar General's gonna be?
mhm.
That lady right next to that's residential, she's gonna petition do all business. If that happens, does that, I don't know what a blister is, does that have to come on up, or that'll be her problem, or?
I'm talking.
Just, yep, right there,
Yes, yes.
right
Now,
next to the
she
Dollar
hasn't
General.
done it yet, but that's her intention.
She would have to improve the right of way.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it would
We-
not be on this.
She would have to get it approved by the zoning board, but,
Well, and the,
And dot.
yeah,
So that, yeah, if you're putting any improvement, ingress egress off of a state right of way,
right,
has to be approved by the state.
Right.
And they tell you what you have to do.
right.
Okay.
But
No
it's,
questions asked.
it's weird when they've applied twice to rezone that property and NDOT's not chimed in at any time.
They don't,
They don't
consider-
know
Well, they
yet.
don't consider zoning, they don't care.
Okay,
All they care about is.
Access.
when they
Access.
start to
So
do,
you wanna put a
okay,
curb cut, they're like, wait a minute.
okay, okay.
Yeah, they do.
So her with rezoning, she wouldn't have to worry about,
No.
No,
And
it would be whoever wants to develop on there that would
Okay.
have to worry.
okay,
The only thing that she would wanna know is where they can access from state road.
right, right,
So, NDOT knows the improvements that are gonna be made there.
Right.
So, if I was her, I would care just as much about the zoning as what NDOT would say, where can I
as
access
to
your
the,
property?
yeah, because that
You need
business
that.
trying to buy might
If the-
say that.
The business may not wanna buy it if, well, I don't have enough room to even get a vehicle in here,
Oh.
kind of thing.
Good,
That's
good,
what that's getting at,
good,
yeah.
good point.
Why rezone it if you can't get something in there to begin with?
Right,
Mhm.
right, okay. Cause the buyer's gonna look at that,
Exactly.
yeah, okay,
100%, yeah.
On
Yeah.
on the Madison Avenue piece, that third piece down,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have choices of 4 to 5 feet or 5 to 8 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 to 8 feet being the greenway.
Yep.
Would you say that the sidewalks in town are more in the 4 to 5 foot range right now?
Or the 3 to 5.
Okay, so
So,
they're on the
yes,
smaller side.
Yes.
On that bare minimum.
Yeah, they're,
5 feet is the
Yeah.
biggest that we
like,
measure.
like that's around
Okay.
the subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that only a baby stroller can get on.
yeah, you need something wider than that.
They are small.
So the rule of thumb that I like to go at a minimum is 5 feet.
Mhm.
That allows a wheelchair and
Yeah.
somebody walking to be
Yeah.
able to pass
Pass
on the
each other,
sidewalk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how it should be.
Mhm.
That's at a minimum for
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
If I'm
And we've also proposed more on some of that, like 5 to 8. 8 being, that's pretty wide, that my property owners might start to raise their eyebrows, like you're taking how much away from me kind of thing, whereas that 5 feet is a bit more malleable in terms of the right of way that varies on all of these
And
streets.
6 is
Right.
nice too. because
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
actually
that's-
have a person riding a bike and someone,
Yep.
beside you.
Sure.
It feels still a little, not super comfortable, but it's comfortable.
Like what,
The 8 is like a true multi-use path.
Yeah.
That is a-
That's
8
pretty
to 10
long,
is-
yeah, that's a large path
That
right
is
there.
that's a true multi-use path.
And that belongs along 56 for sure. I mean, I think it belongs
And
along 56.
If
That
we're
makes
g-
sense.
If we're gonna do it, I wanna do it right,
Yeah.
you know,
And, yeah, and it, like you said, Chip, it would really make a statement.
I think,
Yeah.
I think when you drive through Hanover, Indiana, and you see a greenway, what a nice entrance. You don't need to
Yeah.
put up a bunch of signs.
no,
I live in downtown New Albany, and hopping on the Ohio River Dream, I mean, that's so much fun. Like, that's recreation, that's where I get my physical fitness in, oh yeah. It's
Well,
worth it.
And ultimately, the trail, God willing, the trail from Clifty Falls up into town and onto campus could hook into this
Correct.
along 56. So you're gonna want it to be able to take activity.
look, just
Okay.
turning, driving into Charlestown, how pretty that is, they got trees in the middle and,
Yeah. All right.
So we like sustainability in the Greenway model. I heard that we like, wrong way. I heard that we like this in terms of Kuntz Road
Right.
for that. And while you mentioned, Chip, it's just the kind of the width that varies for Madison Avenue, do we want more of the, wide side, more on the narrow side?
I don't know, what you all, I mean, think when you get into downtown Hanover,
Mhm.
the sidewalks are narrow and probably will be for quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have money to blow those up, so I just think it oughta, you don't want it to look like a bottleneck. All of a sudden you
Yeah.
go from this to this.
right,
So I would say trying to stay a little more in line with that is how I would look at it.
With
for the future, yes.
the second one, no, the other one,
Oh, on the, Greenway side?
the 5 to 8. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm thinking, no, I'm talking for the Madison Avenue a little more, the more narrow.
Oh, the more narrow, okay.
The more narrow, just because that's
What they are over there.
what they
Yeah.
are over there, but you know what? If we're just going to the tennis courts,
As long as it stopped at a road, it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
If it
It-
stopped
it
at a
wouldn't be
road,
as
Yeah.
and it was
noticeable.
bigger from this road on, it wouldn't be so
Yeah.
bad, but if you neck it down into a little bitty
Stop
sidewalk.
where the
it'd be a
entrance to
little-
the tennis courts are, you stop right
Well,
there.
and we'll,
And make it wider.
Yeah.
I would say a minimum of 5
yeah,
myself.
I agree.
We can marry both and say
Yeah.
5 to 6 feet, like we were kind of talking about as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, because we're gonna, again, God willing, we're we're gonna develop the land where the vacant houses are, and that's about where this is gonna,
Yeah.
and we're gonna want, I think, as wide, you know, a modern, a
Sure.
current,
Yeah.
walkable, so yeah, it needs to be, not the minimum, not the minimum.
Yep.
Well, I think it's the extension of the greenway still.
Yeah, it is.
It's not
It
gonna look
is.
like a
I-
greenway.
Our
Yeah.
You're
ordin-
riding your bike and then all of a sudden, whoa, I'm gonna
Yeah,
hit somebody.
that's, no,
Like,
that's right.
So our ordinance for sidewalks is the 3 foot that they did around the subdivision. We're compliant with the state. Why didn't the state make that wider?
That's a good question. Is that
'Cause-
the state's, I didn't.
Yeah, no, ours is compliant with state. We checked that when we did our subdivision.
I think 36 inches is the absolute bare minimum
Bare minimum.
legally that you
But
have
you
to
would
abide
think
by.
that, you'd think the state would make it wider.
Well.
Cause by law, we have to just follow what the state does.
Yeah.
So 36 inches is, like I said, enough for a wheelchair.
No,
Yeah.
no. I've seen people push a baby buggy down our new sidewalk. You couldn't get past it.
So
Wow.
it's not a passive.
Yeah.
No.
One way.
No,
It's
traffic.
just one way, yeah.
And
One-way
that's all
traffic.
we required of the subdivision developer because that's what the state said.
Correct.
So like, if you're, excuse me, if you're on a ramp,
Yeah,
the minimum of a ramp width has to be 36 inches for an ADA ramp. That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Minimum requirement for ADA is 36 inches because that encapsulates the width of a wheelchair.
right.
So that's probably where they're getting at though.
Well, no way
But
2 people could get down the
No.
sidewalk.
No.
it's not even-
One's
It's
gotta get
one-way
over in the
traffic.
grass and
Yeah.
there's not much grass.
Yeah.
That's not comfortable for two.
We got the
No.
minimum.
So you're
No.
gonna have to kind of do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I liked the idea at intersection B of having some kind of like plaza there, with like wayfinding signs. And that could, if we do wanna take the size of the sidewalk down as it goes on to Madison, be like the
That'd be
buffer
pinch
Right.
when that
in
happens.
between
Right.
the wide one to the
That's
narrower.
a good idea, yeah.
I like that. It's good. And it's kind of like your introduction to the main
Right.
historical part of downtown.
Right.
too. So that
Right.
is a
Yeah.
great area.
Nice transition.
Cool. All right.
Good planning.
All right, so just next steps on this, we're gonna get the survey, start to implement this, see it in real life. In terms of, here's your base level of what we're gonna design to, and here's all the add-ons.
Right.
More of those measurable data as well,
Right.
like
Right.
true sections that you're gonna see, yeah.
Right.
And then you'd like to have a meeting with the restaurant people?
I'll,
Yeah,
I'll
we
set,
can
I'll
work
set
that
that up, cause I've got all their names.
You got all of them?
But,
It's
well,
also good to raise awareness that this is happening. as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, yeah.
These are entities that people are coming to, like I've eaten at McDonald's, so.
Right. I don't know about BP, but McDonald's knows, so does Taco Bell, cause I've personally spoken to
Yeah.
those people. But I'll set that up.
Okay, yeah, that'd be really helpful,
Yeah.
I think, it only would benefit everybody in the room.
Sure,
Not
sure.
just the town.
Sure.
Them,
It's
get
everybody.
organized a little bit more, the neighbors.
And since the college has to do the right of way and all that stuff, I'll include you, Chip.
Drag me in. We're given.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna be
I
given.
know, but I'll
Season
do
giving.
that.
It's,
Alright,
See it
any last,
transform.
any further questions on this, we'll move to phase 2.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Willing to.
Let's go.
Good, alright.
All right,
So
thanks.
switch to your red packets. I'll move us into phase 2 here. You want to talk about this, yeah?
So real quick, phase 2, if you remember, this was all more planning for the next steps of what should be implemented, in the historical part of Hanover Town. Ben and I took an amazing tour through town, and
He's a fast driver.
he did
No.
navigate the
No.
entire town quickly, and I still made it out alive, so I appreciate that, even going up through State Highway. So this is, if you remember, you saw this map before.
Yep.
So I just wanted to show you this map again as a base level of information. This is basically the path that Ben talked about with me. I never talked that through with the entire council here. But the main routes that we went down were obviously the ones that we're improving right now. So taking that out,
Yep.
but the next part is still on park spaces or the high school, middle school, grade school spaces, Fireman's Park, how do we get from Fireman's Park? So all those light blue light blue lines were additional, like not above and beyond, but minor,
You're like secondary, tertiary
Secondary,
routes, yeah.
okay.
right. So what we've done in our analysis that we're gonna show you today is we're highlighting the main thoroughfares through town and what we found out. We're not making, again, we're like one step back from the phase one, meaning that, we're just investigating them. We don't know where those prominent locations should start, stop, do anything. We're just in the investigative state of what's there and how do we react to it.
It's purely informative for you all to see where we've gone so far.
So we're not really making any decisions
Okay.
today for phase two that's to come, just informative. You can absolutely ask questions.
Okay.
I reserve the right to may or may not answer.
We might just not have a great answer.
So, I'm gonna start with Madison Avenue, but in all of these, I'm gonna call out a few things. The yellow dash line that you see, that's right of way, as I got from your GIS. The black line, that is existing sidewalks that are there today. So as you see that black line end, that's where it ends today. In Madison Avenue, we're seeing 40 and 50 feet of right of way. That's pretty typical for some of these residential areas. It's relatively straight through here. It does kind of narrow up as you get to Main Street, but otherwise it's a pretty consistent corridor of that width. I'm not going to read through each of these data points. You've got the packet, you can take it with you, you can read those yourselves. I'm gonna grab the high level stuff, give you the summarization of that kind of thing. Again, since this is more just informative for you all. All of these go over the Chase principles as well, so focusing again on connecting people to different places, people to people as well. The health of these areas, both in terms of physical wellness, but also safety. Authenticity, what does this streetscape feel like in this part of town? How does the town's character inform that? Sustainability, making sure that we're not providing a burden on you all, or creating a streetscape that looks wildly outrageous in town. And then equity being about making sure that all people have access to this area, or to these streetscapes, and can use it really well. So for Madison Avenue, I'll start over here where it ties into phase one. That's where we know a future streetscape, again, these are all future ideas here. That's where the most logical connection makes sense. Making sure that whatever's happening in phase one bleeds right into whatever phase X is for Madison Avenue the rest of the way. Other major connection points include crossings, wherever it makes sense, so that we're connecting sidewalks on both sides of the road, so that residents don't feel like they have to, on this plan south, notice that plan north, the true north actually is on this side of the page, but that they don't feel like they have to run across the road to beat a car, that there's a comfortable intersection that they can come to easily cross to access the rest of the streetscape. And then connections that occur up here at the town building, where people pay, I think, different bills, those kinds of things. Connection in terms of both pedestrians, but also vehicles. That's a wide area of asphalt that's got, obviously the roadway striped out, but then what looks like it could be parking along
It's
there.
treacherous pulling
But
out.
it's not striped for parking,
Yeah.
so in some of the design ideas that we'll provide in the future, diagrammatic ideas, things like that, maybe there's a way that we can provide real parking that's
Right.
there. Some unique on-street parking that still provides more space for pedestrians, but makes it easier and safer to get to that kind of building. In terms of health, the two big things that we're seeing here is you've got your typical 3-foot narrow sidewalk that suddenly opens up to the 5-foot sidewalk, as you see here more on this residential side. So just making sure that future streetscapes bleed together really well, that we're making up where it's short, but also making sure that it's not so wide that it feels ridiculous through there, just again so that people feel comfortable walking along these, and it's not jarring to suddenly transition at one of those points. In terms of authenticity, there's two in these pink areas that are really great assets along this part of the future streetscape. The community garden is one. I think that there's opportunity here, as you see with the other symbols, in terms of sustainability, to think about the seasonality of that community garden. Are there events or plantings or produce offerings that could occur there that occur in the wintertime, in late fall, seasons that you may not see many people out and about, but if there's the opportunity to do it, they might go see what's up out in the community garden. Thinking about the variety of interests that could occur there and making sure that this is something that's used all around the year. In terms of equity, making sure that people can comfortably access it. The gravel parking lot is not the best ideal situation. Maybe there's a way that you could still do some sort of like soft permeable paving or pavement material there, but it doesn't feel like you're pulling up into the gravel lot, formalizing this space just to make it a really proud part of town. Other piece of authenticity is again that town hall building that's up there. Are there ways that you all, through a streetscape development, there might be places to sit outside there. There might be places where you could implement some sort of like, again, water features, other types of amenities that make this feel like a really unique part of town. And again, kind of that like center point where people, if there's events that happen there, or the connecting it to that future parking that's there, making that really feel like a municipal area. In terms of sustainability, I talked about the community garden, but the other thing here is, as we think about longevity as a sustainable idea, making sure that the streetscape fits into this more residential area, making sure that this is a streetscape that doesn't feel out of place, that it's on a burden on the town in terms of its maintenance needs or anything like that. Generous sidewalks, but not so wide that it suddenly feels like there's another piece of pavement out in your front yard. Making sure that we're really harmonious with residents in that area. And lastly, in terms of equity, again, at the community garden, making sure that all of that's ADA accessible, that parking is easy and comfortable for all people to use. And then thinking about equity in terms of housing, in terms of partnerships, people that you could look to make sure that all people are coming to the table for these conversations. You're already doing a lot of work with Indiana Landmarks. There's perhaps opportunity there to use them as a tool for other funding, for other types of development, for rehabilitating more homes and more property in this area, so that when a streetscape is being put in, it truly feels like it's a cohesive corridor that you're traveling down. I'll then jump completely out of the way to Main Cross Street. I wanted to save Main Street for the end, but Main Cross Street is the longest piece of roadway that we've got in this phase 2 option, and it's also the one that's got the biggest variation of right-of-way between 40 and 60 feet. You're seeing 60 feet occurring more where it connects at Highway 56, and then really opens up at the school system's property, and then narrows back up again where those residences are. Again, just because of that's how property lines were being set up with those different homes. There's a lot more data, obviously, on this, so again, keep it high level. In terms of connections, the big ones on Main Cross are making sure that where sidewalks end, we're making either intelligent connections across the street to existing infrastructure or future infrastructure, or bringing those endings, making those endings not endings, and making sure that a terminus makes sense somewhere else. Continuing that ending somewhere, so that way it doesn't feel like you're just stopping randomly in somebody's property, as you do today in some instances. Making sure that those critical intersections that we're seeing along these roadways are safe to travel along, that connections make sense across the street, that we're not blurring the line between where a vehicle is versus where a pedestrian is. Taking control of some of these awkward intersections that happen here, example being here at the high school, where because of some terrain constraints, that sidewalk jumps all the way down right to where you can look into people's classrooms. And so thinking about how future streetscapes could begin to address that, either with retaining walls or some other way of pulling that away from the school building, so that if people are using this more and more, it's not awkward looking into somebody's classroom in the middle of the day.
Which is good.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I was shocked where I was like, oh, I can see right into their
Yeah,
lessons,
yeah.
okay.
That shouldn't be.
Right, but again, it makes sense, cause I think there's a, that roadway, rises up in that area, which
Yeah.
is
That
difficult
one
to navigate
has.
around.
Yeah.
Is that a town sidewalk or is that school sidewalk?
It connects to it either way.
Well, I mean, as far as working on that, that's off of the right of way, ain't it?
It is,
The sidewalk
yes.
you're talking about?
It is, yes.
Okay, so that's on the,
Either
The
way,
remainder of them,
either way.
Oh,
it
you're
needs
right,
to
it
be
is. I
right.
didn't notice
Still
that.
ties into then what is in right of way.
Right.
yeah, no, I get it, I just making sure, I didn't think it was a town
Yes.
sidewalk, I just,
No, you're right.
It's not a
It's the only place where it jogs out like that.
Okay. Health being next. Two big ones, or three big ones here, I should say. Lighting. There's a lot of overgrown vegetation on this corridor here. So one, cutting that back, working with property owners on that. But two, lighting these pathways anyway. Because we're seeing, as we observed out on site actually, walking this one day, school children are coming from school to homes, but then also down to the convenience store here on Highway 56.
Yeah.
As we start to, like now, transition into darker times of the year when people are still having school events, they're still
Right.
going to practice and that kind of thing, making it safe for them to use all the time just makes more sense. We've got some unsafe intersections like here at Main and Main Cross. Intersections even here at the school where there's just a lot of stopping and going as classes let out. Not unsafe and there's accidents happening all the time, but there's the risk of it. And so finding a way that we can maybe get rid of some of the concrete planters that sit there, raise up an area, provide some sort of like lip or wall feature that really makes people feel safe in those different instances. That's just gonna be important in making people want to use these streetscapes more. And lastly, being the signalized crossings. Nothing wrong with those, calling it out because they're good things to have. You don't even see some of that in Louisville in areas. And so what is that, 10 and then 18, those are great examples of good infrastructure that's in place. So continuing to draw upon those and use those in other areas, those go a long way, and again, making people safe. In terms of authenticity, we've got three kind of themes that are happening here already. We've got a very commercial presence here on the corner that you're seeing a lot of kids go to get a drink and a snack after school, before practice kind of thing. What's that experience like? Is there a way that a future streetscape could tie into that a little bit better than I feel like I'm coming in at the back of the Circle K? Finding a way that makes it easier to get to it, safer again, like I said. Whereas this is, through here, a more residential feeling. How do we, transition from a more commercial, busy intersection area to something that's a bit more quiet, a bit more casual in that area? And then finally come into the school corporation property where there could be opportunity to have some sort of like linear park element, fun elements in the pavement like hopscotch or tic-tac-toe that really makes it more playful for school kids as they come to and from school. So there's some of the authenticity that we can really draw on in terms of the typologies that exist there in the town. And not finally, but second to final, sustainability, longevity of use in these areas, making sure that these streetscapes make sense, that we're creating corridors that feel natural in these areas, they're not inhibiting anything, they're not a burden on maintenance needs, those kinds of things. But also, there's a major drainage way that runs from the more naturalized creek into the widened ditch that runs through the school property. We don't want what we're installing or proposing to have a negative effect on stormwater today. And so just keeping in mind some of those drainage needs as we design and plan for these things are just gonna be really important to serve you all best. And then lastly, equity again draws on, yeah, you met the bare minimum with your 36 inches, we can do better than that. And so making sure that everyone is able to use these sidewalks comfortably and easily, it's just gonna be a really big thing. Lastly, Main Street. So again, north is up this time. We're finally back to normal. In terms of connections, you're gonna hear me it's gonna sound like a broken record again. Connecting people across the streets where sidewalks awkwardly end, like up here at Madison and Main, where you have to kind of jog to get back around to the other side. Here, where there's an opportunity again to put in true parking by the laundromat in that area. Maybe no parking at all if it's not that necessary, but you've got the width for it. Let's do something with that rather than just leave it as asphalt there. Some unique connections that can occur both in this large pink circle as like a town center, connections that can occur here where Main and Main Cross come together, and then connections at the college itself. Currently that sidewalk just ends. Is there a way that we could connect to future infrastructure that happens on the college's campus, make some sort of gateway feature here that makes it more valuable to college students walking through these areas, making sure that it feels like, hey, we're now on Hanover College's campus.
Connectivity.
connectivity.
That's what Lily's about.
Well, if you stand at the top of Main Street and look toward the college, you'll notice that about 3 levels of the lowest branches were removed last week. And
Yeah.
now you can stand at the
Yes,
corner of Main
you
and
can-
Madison,
And see, yeah,
and you can see the college sign.
yeah,
And that's because Lynn Miracle allowed
Yes.
us to take out some limbs.
yes.
$300
Wow.
And you
fixed.
can see.
And you
yeah.
can see it, so you actually, it's like, oh, the town continues.
Right.
There's the college. Yeah.
Some spooky hollow situation.
I know,
Yeah.
it was one of those simple things, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's simple, let's do it.
But now if we just get a sidewalk connecting,
Exactly.
Yeah, so, well, we've got one on one side, right?
one side,
Yeah.
but
One side.
it doesn't
There's
go,
a lot
yeah.
of gray change here that also means that
Yeah.
it's, I call it out, I think, as well, maybe in sustainability, that there's, that's more like a creek watershed, but anyway, there's some steep terrain.
No, there
Yeah.
is.
So that's, you
Yeah.
just have to work around
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's opportunity there for some stuff. In terms of health, again, unsafe intersections that we're seeing, the big ones here though, and this on Main Street being the grade change that occurs there. That's where that was actually.
Yeah.
Fireman's Park, and I was walking through, I was like, oh, it does just drop off.
Yeah.
Right through there. In some of these more, historic type homes, you're not seeing ramps with sidewalks because of houses being up higher than at the roadway. You're coming out a stairwell. And so finding ways that we can, once new infrastructure comes in, make sure that, again, all people are able to use that safely. Authenticity though, this is where that historic character really comes together. Not only because Main Street is just this idyllic idea for small towns in America, but also because there's some really unique homes that lie along here, some really rich, the creek watersheds, all the trees that are grown up, the connection to the college itself. There's a lot of opportunity to draw on some of that historic charm that exists, both here with some of these homes, dressing that up through banners, signage, those kinds of things, with Fireman's Park, really turning that into an asset along Main Street, downtown park, if you will. And then again, with this idea of a town center. You've got some infrastructure there today, the bank, the post office, a funeral home, the town hall, some apartments. Could some of these lots be, in the future, as people have interest in these things, be redeveloped? Could a little, a little eatery come into one of these areas? Other types of housing, those kinds of things, really making us feel like that center point of town as it connects to the college and everything else. Sustainability, again, focuses on 2 main initiatives. The creek watersheds, not having any adverse effects on them, celebrating that really natural, greenway that moves through these areas. And the second component being historic preservation. We're seeing Indiana Landmarks helping you all, or helping property owners out with a lot of home renovations. Continuing to lean on them is gonna be really valuable. They're a great asset. We work with them on projects or a comprehensive plan in Utica, Indiana, to learn a lot about just the town's history, and they're really passionate about helping these small towns out. Equity focuses, again, handicap accessibility. I shouldn't be coming out in a wheelchair and suddenly meet a stairwell that I have to navigate. And also thinking about potentially future programming in Fireman's Park, thinking about ways that not only is the terrain being addressed, but like different types of playground furniture. What does one kid's experience feel like versus another kid's? Really ways to dress that up. And then housing needs as well. We're seeing some apartments in this area. Thinking about how college students live in Hanover, thinking about maybe how young people live in Hanover, how families live in Hanover. Could Main Street really begin to vary itself with some of the housing typologies that exist along it? And I bring these things up because the streetscape can readily impact that stuff. People see those simple touches happening in terms of sidewalks and things like that, and they suddenly have an interest in doing more in towns.
I think streetscapes become one of the biggest drivers for new development.
Sure.
Yeah.
They think it's well-kept and,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it means that if the town, I think I said this to you a while back, but when you start to implement streetscapes, it means the town's investing in itself.
true,
Therefore, they want to see somebody come in and
True.
redevelop.
Yep.
true.
New Albany's a great
Great
example.
example of that, yeah.
They put so much money into their streetscape in downtown. It just started to invigorate the downtown and make it what it is today.
Hmm.
What, 10, 12 years ago, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
kind of a ghost town.
Yeah,
Shelbyville is doing the same thing much further north. They put in
Right.
they redid their town square, so it was more of this just this ovoid kind of getting people through there. But I mean, development's shot through the roof there. I was surprised coming through there one day, I was like, oh my gosh, like, how much has happened?
Jasper, have you
Yeah.
been to Jasper?
Yeah, Jasper's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's brand new streetscape, and they're seeing new shops come in and things like that. They're getting grant money, like you all want to reinvest into the town. So it's really the starting point to see some
Well,
of these things.
Franklin College got the Lilly grant too. That's what they're focusing on, cause they're offset, but they're focusing on streetscape to get in to the college, just like DePaul did.
And so that's why I kind of want to leave Main Street for last, not only because it's got the most right of way to work with, 55 to 65 feet, but it's also got the best opportunity for some more of that commercial redevelopment.
Right.
That really invigorates the
Right.
town. Madison Avenue and Main Cross Street are again more of that, like, that's addressing people's needs, that more residential suburban feel. But this has the opportunity for more of that trademark Hanover opportunity here, that planning really begins to sink its teeth into. And then that's the end of the phase 2 stuff. Any questions over that? Again, it was more informative. In terms of next steps, I'll talk about that after we get through some questions if you got any.
Any areas of,
I know one thing we've been talking about, in our meetings is that our town hall needs a flagpole separate from the building specifically, if that's something.
one, sorry.
Well,
Like a
they
flagpole.
can't lower the flag to half mast.
It's attached to the building.
It's attached to the
Okay,
building.
yeah. So
So as you
that's an
lower-
opportunity to create some
Yes.
sort of
Right,
like,
yes.
yeah,
Good
closet
point.
space that I
Integrate
think
that
is
in
valuable
somehow.
there. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and definitely some better parking, because the parking right there, all we
Hey,
have is.
our police backed up and hit the neighbor behind, cause she was backing up too. So if that happens, I have no hope.
Right?
I would mention on the community garden, I know you focused a lot on it, it's a great aspect. And
Mhm.
Chip will correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
but there's a whole separate project going on with
Yeah.
it.
So, right,
They
yeah.
got their
So I would
own,
say not to waste too much time focusing on that in these plans.
Correct, yeah.
So it's got
That's-
its own thing going on.
That's one
they got their
where,
own Lilly money.
Yeah,
that's,
Oh,
they
okay.
got
Well,
their own
the
committee of people too, don't
The
they?
community garden has, there's $1.2 million at the community garden for upgrades at the garden and a gathering building, a gathering space of some
Okay.
kind. And we're gonna wanna tie in, if it goes there, that's where it's planned to go, but there may be a
Right.
better place. But,
I
but,
mean, we
but
need
I
to
agree.
range around it, approaching and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all that vacant land around, well, it's not vacant, it's got 10 houses which are vacant. Ultimately, that will be developed, and we
It's-
want that to.
But
you
it's
want-
all college owned
Mhm.
there,
And
not
the-
the community garden.
And the
stuff
town will
else.
probably hold the college to a wider than 36-inch
Yeah.
sidewalk. That's a,
We'll say.
that's a
in our
challenge.
meetings,
That's a
yeah.
challenge.
10-foot minimum.
10-foot minimum. And I bring up some of these pieces because while our phase 2 focus will be on a streetscape and design guidelines for kind of what you saw for phase 1.
Right.
We're gonna talk about these things because they're important nodes.
Right.
These are, all of this stuff comes together. It's that corridor that you're walking.
Right.
through.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to see you waste much time on
Yeah,
design
yeah.
inside of that,
Oh,
when
yeah.
there's a whole nother
But, yeah,
yeah, we can
Yeah.
address
thing to
that
go
with
with
another.
that,
Yep.
Yep.
so.
good
I
point.
don't
Yep.
think that's what we were gonna try to do. It's
Okay,
just
I just
one
want-
piece.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Chip says, they got their own bucket.
They got, I don't know what else to call it.
I'm out here, that's good.
Bag.
But, yeah, no, I like bucket.
Would you say, what corridor do you say is your primary focus? The main cross?
If you could do a phase 2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do a phase 2 tomorrow. You know,
I would say
Madison-
56 to Main Street would be the next primary focus, but.
56 to Main, down Madison.
Yeah, down Madison Avenue.
You know, it's funny, Madison, when I first started, I thought Main.
Yeah.
I was all about Main Street. It's like Main, and you know what? Madison is so heavily traveled.
Mhm.
I mean,
I'm
relative to
down
Maine.
4 and 5 times a day.
It's more.
But it's
traveled
getting
than
its
the other.
legs. You know, there's been a lot of work on Madison. When you think what Landmarks has done,
Yeah.
and now we got an empty,
Yeah.
spooky mill sitting there that something good's gonna happen with. I can't tell you because I don't know what it is. But Madison's kinda doing sorta okay.
It's that connector, yeah.
It's just, it's getting, cleaning up the sidewalk and maybe having some, you know.
Now, see, I would say Main Street, because people coming into the college is coming out of 65. And
Yeah,
I
but
see-
And they come
but
in.
your normal residents aren't. We're coming the way Chip said.
Side streets,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
We are.
I-
But there's more growth, I think, on Main
Main Street than Madison Avenue. Cause like you said, Madison Avenue is more residential. Main Street
It's-
coming in, there's a lot of opportunities there. There's that corner right
Longer.
there across from the
Yeah.
laundromat that sits there.
That's a
Yeah.
great way to put it, is where's the potential and where do you put
Okay.
the money
Yeah.
So-
potential versus where are people using and where do you put your money for what people are already using today.
Right.
So that's a, so.
I was
that's
always,
for sure.
I was always instructed in the president's office, don't bring people through Hanover. Tell them to come scenic, cause nobody wanted them to see that way.
But if I could wave a wand to answer, if, you know where Madison and Main hit, because you had a big
Yeah.
circle
Yeah.
drawn there. And I mean, that's Main and Main,
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah,
Cleaning, organizing some of that.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, if we could, the Ney Funeral Home folks, they're phenomenal, business in town, but they're neat as a pin.
and most students stay that route
Yeah,
when
I have,
walking.
I stood on File Street, so that's up by Cynthiana, and watched the traffic last week, and it's tremendous how much more traffic is on File than goes in the back entrance of the college.
Oh,
Not me,
Files
not
and
me, I
Files.
go around the point.
You
If I'm
think
gonna
it's more
live on
File.
campus,
Oh,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
see that river every day.
Yeah, I think there's more on File, and that's.
Oh, Files, heavily traveled, yeah.
And that's what one of the things Ball State's working on is some ideas for that area right there.
I
It's-
could
it's
bring
busy.
people through scenic or turn at the maintenance building and go down File, but never at Gendy's. Because you hit all the frumpy homes and they don't want people to see that.
That's part of what all this is about, is
Yeah.
trying to.
Trying to improve
From the
that.
homes.
Well, yeah, it's, you don't want people, we have a lot of
You
people
don't
who
want
visit campus,
visitors,
and we don't
yeah.
want them
Yeah.
saying, I love that school, and then they just don't get
But
excited
getting
about the
into
town.
it.
It's like, oh, don't make your decision on that,
Yeah.
folks, that's not
In fact,
fair.
my former boss wanted me to call all the residents on that street to see if we could paint the front of their houses.
Just the front?
Yeah, just the front. That's how the,
Lipstick on it,
that's how the
yeah.
Verizon building
Classic.
got painted.
Hmm.
There's a lot of potential.
Seems like it's still up in the air a little bit,
Oh, about whether it's Madison or Maine.
Madison and Maine, so Maine crosses.
I think the real answer is both.
Well,
but-
Yeah, but you know what, I can see Maine being the focus, because we're kinda doing it on Madison. We just seem to have a number of projects.
Madison
On
has
Madison.
a lot going on right
It's,
now.
it's come along.
I think Ming Cross is functional. I think that it could be safer.
Oh, and
Um,
more attractive.
Yeah, but we've done work to it to make it functional for students leaving school and adding that crosswalk across the highway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So there's more work to do for sure with that.
It's a big thing to bite off.
that's an important intersection. And you know, the planters, is there a planter on every corner now? Are there 4 planters there? The big
Yeah.
concrete
Yeah.
planters?
There are, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
With,
that's,
with flowers so tall you can't see to pull out.
Yeah, that's, I was like, make sure I'm not gonna like.
I know,
hit it, yeah.
I know.
but it's,
I want something done with the triangle. I want all that gravel taken out, I want all those flowers taken
Good.
out.
We just talked about that this
Nobody
morning.
maintains
Well,
it.
I wanna just
it's not
pave
our
it.
decision.
That's what I want, pavement.
Yeah, no, it's,
It's
It
in
was
dot.
being maintained until she got ran off by the state.
That's
Well,
been,
no,
State
no,
told
Down by
she
Jenny's,
retired.
it's, the triangle down there.
What triangle?
If you go down Main
Well,
Street to where
By
Jenny's
Jenny's.
Pizza
Right
is,
by
Retired.
Gendy's.
Oh.
there's a
Yeah.
triangle
They did not
by the
get
storage
that.
units.
So we did all
Yes.
this.
But
Yeah,
it's
coming
in
through.
dot
They gave us a
control.
list of
I'm
things that
sure.
she would have to do.
But, yeah,
And,
well,
but
and-
she came to me and she goes, Debbie, I'm tired, I don't wanna do it anymore.
and another
So-
reason for Maine is because it hits
So that's
Main
why they like
Cross,
the
and we've
state
got
to
to
That's why the
address
school
the
started
students.
doing it.
Yes.
The Southwestern students,
That's-
Yeah.
that's what-
safety.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes clear, sorry, it's taken me a while. I think Maine, to me, would be the,
That's the, when you think of Main Street, it's a Main Street.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the waterways that you've shown there, wouldn't it be interesting, and we can't put paths through people's backyards, but, But
it's
that's a
really
greenway.
unique. I was like, this is really
no,
interesting.
Yeah.
Like-
that's
When that goes all the way to the park, so you can connect possibly to the park, right?
just, you're talking about a path,
So
not a
what,
sidewalk.
what would you do with Main Street? There are no homes, there's no Indiana landmark.
But
But they're getting ready to do that one there on Main Street.
Well, across from the post office and the other one,
Right, and.
that's it.
And then on Friday, Indiana Landmarks is closing on the house across from Fireman's Park.
Right, the
So,
little house,
The little
sideway
house,
house.
move your finger to the right, Tanner, down to and down, a little down. The house that sits perpendicular, right there.
But you don't see that
Yeah.
coming in. It doesn't attract anything.
Well, need to raise the skirt on the trees
Yeah.
that are there, and
Yeah.
you'll be able to see right through them. And they're closing on it, Friday with a sub-grant.
Seen some contractors over there
You're
today.
go-
Yeah, I did too.
Yes, yes.
But the laundromat's not that attractive when you're coming through.
Yeah.
People don't stop at the
Ja-
four-way
Jazzy-
stop.
Jazzy B's right there.
Jazzy B right
Sundays.
there.
It would
That's
be
why we
nice
need
to
to
have
make
that
it
parking
more
lot.
attractive.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
how
Gravel
would
lot,
you?
Yes.
Who owns Jazzy B's?
Streetscape, huh?
Who owns Jazzy B's?
I don't know.
What's
Jazzy
Jazzy
B.
It's a cleaning.
course.
Right?
It's a
Grants
cleaning
too.
and bubble service.
Yeah, you know, it used to be a daycare right there. across from
Yeah, it
the
did.
laundromat.
It's a good place
Oh,
for
okay, that little green
streetscape,
Yeah,
public
yeah.
art.
Has been some
Yeah.
parking lot in it, but there used to be a daycare, I think Jazzy B's
Yeah,
last time.
again, Maine.
I've never heard that name.
So in terms of next steps for us
Don't
with
pay
phase
for
two,
them to buy, I guess.
we're going to, take all this information and continue to build on it. So the next thing is that next Wednesday, we'll be back in town, and we'll be at the college in the morning. We're gonna have stakeholders meeting, groups that have interest in or stake in some of the development that's occurring, some of the planning studies that we're doing here, that college students are obviously a big demographic in this town, and so we wanna meet with them to get their feedback on some of these things. That's where we'll have more like, question kind of things, interactive activities that they can participate in to get feedback from them as we start to move through this design process. And then, that late afternoon, we're back here, I
Here
think.
at 5, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I think, did you want us here, or do you want us in the bigger room, you said?
Right over there.
Yeah, we'll do it in the big room.
Build this building regardless.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
building.
Mhm.
But
'Cause-
can we, I guess, we can
Roll this thing.
We can
Okay.
roll it
Yeah,
over.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it rolls everywhere.
If the
you-
internet
Yeah.
works.
Right.
so
That's
that-
when we need to get the business.
And you all are advertising somehow for that meeting.
I don't know.
Put it on Facebook.
well, this is.
More,
This
this
is-
is more
this is-
intentional stakeholders.
So this is where we
Businesses.
reach
Oh.
out to Gendy's, Pride,
Okay,
people like
That.
Well, we
that.
better be doing it.
warrant officer,
Yeah.
school.
Right.
Yep.
Streets
This is
people,
next
parks
week?
people.
Yeah.
stuff.
Gotcha.
Scouts.
Okay.
It's
Scouts
more of
More
a,
intention.
more of a focused group
Right.
on that.
Would it be helpful if we like construct put paragraph to tell you what we're doing, and then you can send it to
Yeah,
That would
just
be great, yeah.
send it to
Yeah,
Debbie.
Thank you.
We did that for you all, yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna sit outside the dining room at the campus center
Yeah.
Center.
next
Perfect.
week and
You'll
catch
get a
students
lot.
as they're coming in and out and ask them.
And they're coming out of the dining, you know what the first thing they're gonna say? We
More
want
places
more
to eat."
eating places.
Of course, I would too.
I want a Chick-fil-A on Main
They're
Street.
gonna
want
say,
a
I won't be able to walk
Chick-fil-A."
to Taco Bell safely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
Yes, that would be,
they will just, they'll go for
It was funny,
Taco
I was
Bell.
at Walmart and this couple came up to me, he used to be on the town council, Brett Mitchell.
Mhm.
And him and his wife had been at the cross-country
oh,
over there.
yeah, there was a big,
And they was talking about how many people were there and how hard it was to cross the road to get over.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, we're getting a stoplight, and they were like, what? They hadn't heard it, and I was explaining it all to them, and they were super excited.
We hope we're getting a stoplight, that's what I tell everybody.
I'm
I
still
think
saying.
positive.
Yeah.
I used to,
An $8
I played
million
tennis, cause I went from Seymour, Indiana,
Uh-huh.
and so we come down here for meets at here, I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
coming down that narrow roadway and being like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but, the third stakeholder group, bought the big box for it.
Thank you.
We're meeting with, well, not meeting with, but we prepared a little worksheet for the, elementary and middle school students.
Yeah,
We've got 900 copies of these worksheets to pass, that the superintendent's agreed to work with teachers on passing all of that out. Just easy questions to ask kids, just to get a good baseline of what they might want for different streets, how they navigate around town, just to understand how we can meet the needs of, again, a usually ignored demographic in some of these planning studies.
it's a good idea.
It's a
If we get
thoughtful
900 back,
worksheet.
They're all gonna
We're
want
gonna
Taco,
help.
Taco Bell.
You're gonna spread them
We'll-
out, and
we'll
we need to get log all that.
I
stuff.
think we're gonna be
There we go.
helping.
What's the typical of that 10 to 20% return on them, maybe?
Well, it depends, like,
Yeah.
if they give it to the teachers, and the teachers say,
Right,
It's a
right.
fun exercise. I
If,
think teachers
if they do
will
it in
enjoy it.
class, I guess, yeah, you would.
Yeah, that was the intent, cause I have some friends that are like, elementary school teachers, and I was like, is this even a good idea? Cause you see sometimes, like, groups like us, design firms, meet, like, in person with them, do activities, but I was like, it's like a worksheet even gonna work, and they're like, that'd be easier.
Right.
Like, something
right.
we can do in the morning, and then continue on with our day.
Just an exercise.
Yeah.
Well, as I told you with our backpack thing, the people that did our comprehensive plan came. They gave out popsicles. We got 54 responses. Most were from kids. They all wanted a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Well, we just closed the swimming pool a few years ago because we couldn't afford it. And we're like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and we will be at the trunk or treat.
Yeah.
So then that'll be the next thing, yeah.
Spectacular.
Spectacular.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of responses.
Yeah.
And we let the little kids,
Mhm.
you know, we didn't care.
And that'll be where you'll see more design
Right.
focused stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But the big thing that we told people in the comprehensive plan, this town has to be able to maintain.
Yes.
We don't wanna do something and then have to close it down.
Yeah.
That's
Or-
why sustainability was important.
Yeah, we don't want streetscape and then nobody will water the
Right.
stuff.
There's jet
We,
shooting, all
we've
this
been
stuff,
there,
yeah.
done that,
Yep.
so that's a hard balance,
Oh, yeah.
Totally is, but it's doable.
yeah.
Um,
But we only have, what do we have, 8 employees on the Scott
And part of
side?
them are
So,
part-time.
yeah, a lot of those are part-time, so we don't have staff.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
We need self-weeding
Yeah, yeah,
beds.
yeah.
Goats. We get a team of goats just to go along.
Yeah. And now
Maybe
that,
Plastic plants?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
and now that Chip's out of the room and off the record, Bob, we've turned to the college to help, who has 3 times as many, and we don't get any help. So they need to buy into it too.
Yes.
I think they do.
Yeah,
I mean, you heard it from him. You
well, I
only
heard it
got
from
certain
him,
times.
but him wasn't here 2 years ago when we started all this.
Well,
Him,
we
him,
definitely think-
him here now.
Stop
We
talking
need,
about it.
we need the college to buy into the streetscapes too.
To buy into it.
Well, I told you in the past, they wouldn't help us water,
Oh, stuff.
yeah, stuff, maintenance,
Maintenance.
sustainability. The college has gotta buy into this too.
Right, Chip, you gotta get them to buy in.
I'm gonna get me a water truck.
Sounds like
Yeah.
there wants to be a volunteer hours requirement for freshmen.
Yeah, I was,
Oh, that's a good
Well-
idea.
actually,
I had to do that at Ball State,
Yeah.
so.
we have service hours required by a lot of the students, especially in the Greek houses, and we could use them in town with service hours.
Well,
It sounds like
we'll
when you
need
ask them
to.
for more land, you need to ask them for the maintenance to take care of that as well.
Exactly.
I think I know how that's gonna work anyway.
I agree with you, Ben.
Say, hey, can your all's
It's-
maintenance guys take care of this stretch
It's
on
on the
56?
college's side for a reason.
Will it
Uh-huh.
be-
Yeah.
Some of that will be on your wing.
No, we're gonna be taking care of that sidewalk, I'm sure. Aren't you supposed to, when you're a homeowner and you have
Yeah,
a sidewalk in
yeah.
front of a public sidewalk, that's
You would
your
think.
responsibility.
Yeah, your verge.
That's right.
I mean, I've got a nonprofit that does community gardens all around, and we have somebody that goes and waters them.
Yeah.
So if you wanna make edible plants, like, we can help with that.
Hey, we had people that we asked to help water and we put those pots in. They wanted to know if we'd take it off their water bill.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The key is to have the plants that need to be watered near water.
yeah. And ours aren't.
It
Yeah.
has to be
Ours
close to
aren't.
water.
There's some tropical ones in there,
Yeah,
yeah. I was
yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah, it's, I like
But
the
that's a
idea of the
good
intent.
idea, edible stuff, Jane.
Well, they're all edible, I mean, just
And
might
Well,
recommend
yeah.
that
one.
plays into equity.
And then they'll die and sue the town.
Change equity
This is-
to edible, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's people here who struggle with food insecurity,
Yeah.
and if they can just go and harvest food from our planters, like,
That's
That's
not a
one way
bad
to do it.
idea.
That's it.
Come to Danny Shelton's front yard and pick tomatoes,
Right.
God. They're
You
running
see-
out our
You
ears.
see, there are, like in bigger cities, there are smaller neighborhoods where they'll do that,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, they do plant their front yards and stuff, and it's like, come
Sure.
grab the strawberries kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really unique.
Yeah, there's a lot of urban gardens that are popping up, like in, less equitable communities for that reason. Because they, when they're trying to educate them, of like, you don't need that much space to actually grow
she's my neighbor, but our backyard's all shade. So tomato plants are all down our driveway, but he furnishes,
Yeah.
well, Jane's got her own, but he furnishes all the neighbors. They make salsa and,
It's not a hard thing to do.
I mean, some of those trees could be fruit trees.
yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say, fruit?
Some of the trees that get put in could be fruit trees.
Oh,
But then
Good
if
point.
bees
Not
and
over the
stuff and,
sidewalks.
when they
yeah,
fall.
the sidewalks, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I got a peach tree and a cherry tree in my backyard, and I hate them both.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Being in the yard, I love the trees, but I wish they was
Yeah,
on the
farther
other
back.
side of the fence.
Yeah.
I've got a couple things
It is a
to
pain.
discuss before we adjourn.
Okay.
One of them is, Midwestern Engineering, I emailed everybody the contract. Did everyone get a chance to look at that?
I haven't.
I looked
So
at
we are going for the community crossing grant. Scott's reached out to Midwestern Engineering and they're gonna do it for us. So it's effective August the 27th, 2025, Midwestern Engineering, was acquired by CHA Consulting Incorporation. Accordingly, please accept this letter as a notice of change in control and request for consent to assignment effective August the
You ready?
27th,
All right.
2025.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks,
Sorry.
guys.
Oh, do we, oh.
Thank
No,
you.
no, you're good. No,
You're
it's-
good. No, this is,
We just
Thank
wanna
you.
go home.
yeah, CHS is an innovative
you.
engineering, design, consulting, and construction management firm delivering sustainable, integrated solutions to the world's most challenging infrastructure projects. So what Scott has done is he reached out to them and, explained our dilemma last time, why we couldn't accept that grant because of the certain
'Cause it was 100
specifications, yeah.
Well,
170
didn't
grand or something.
Midwestern do it last
Yeah.
time?
Yeah,
too?
but, so Midwestern was,
A
Yeah, just
different
right there is
firm,
fine,
yeah,
thanks.
well, somebody bought them out now.
yeah,
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
Thanks,
They were
Mary.
The way I
different.
understand this, though, is
Is
we're
that
just
all 900?
reassigning what's already currently with them to this company.
Yes, yes, and so
Yes.
they can go on ahead and do the,
Yeah. But I think next year we need to look at other companies.
Yeah.
We've been with them forever.
yeah. The deadline though is like in October, so we
Yeah.
need to, so
I
if
don't
everyone
think
was,
we have a choice.
yeah. So I'm
This
gonna
year.
need a motion to approve this.
Make a motion to approve the reassignment to the new company that bought out Midwestern Engineering.
Is there a
I'll-
second?
I'll second, and next year let's look at other firms.
Okay, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Okay, next, I got a call before I got here, from Heather Davis. She is with the Dollar Market. So she had reached out to Scott and talked to Scott, or I think they text back and forth. So they have to do that blister, and they reached out, to NDOT, and they sent, NDOT said they have to do it, so they reached out a plan. NDOT sent it back with some adjustments. They're sending it back again tomorrow. They're hoping that it gets approved. They wanna open by the end of next week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're ready.
Yeah, they're ready. She said they're getting ready to stock and do everything. They have talked to Dave O'Mara out of Jennings County. He's gonna be doing the road work. I asked Scott if he would be willing to, if he thought it would be okay to go on ahead, and I was gonna talk to you guys about it. He doesn't wanna do it till the blister's completely done.
State unofficially said that if you allow them to do it, it'll probably never get done.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
In fact, they said we won't hold them to it. But
Correct.
I texted our attorney who said, let me think about that. So I don't see how we can
Uh,
make a decision. I wouldn't issue a letter
okay.
if I were
I
Scott.
just told her that I would talk to you guys tonight. I
Yeah.
would get back with them tomorrow.
I would say
Um,
we're waiting on our
Certificate
attorney.
of occupancy, is that what they're looking
Yeah.
for
Yes.
ultimately?
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as you give them a C of O, they can.
I mean, she's hoping to have the blister done within 3 weeks. So,
But they wanna open. They're
Next-
ready to open.
but I mean, I'll just tell her that we have to talk to our attorney and take it
And-
under advisement right now, but right now we can't issue a letter till
Yeah.
we hear back from the
Yeah.
attorney.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do something like, if it was allowed, that
Contingent.
after 60 days, you pay a penalty of X amount per day
Right,
until it's
yeah.
finished.
I think that'd be
That'd
our
be the only way
attorney's
that I think it
decision.
would be
Yeah.
guaranteed it'd still get done.
Yeah.
Right,
I like that.
so
I mean, that would be, show that we're trusting them to a point.
I'll reach out to Pat
You know.
and,
Yeah, but I'd say let's let our attorney make that decision.
But I mean, I could get on board with something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
if it wasn't completed in, she's saying she thinks 3 weeks, let's say 60
Right,
days,
right.
that's more than fair. But
Right.
You would
You
think
know.
they'd
Well,
have plenty
I'm-
of time to do
if other
this.
people agree with that, that's just.
Yeah, but I'm telling you,
1,000 a day.
I was in a
You
meeting
just
where
make it a high
NDOT
enough
said they're not
fine
gonna
that
hold him to
they're either
it.
gonna do it, or we're gonna make some
Uh,
money.
Plenty of time.
Well, remember when they
Yeah.
first started,
You put
building,
1,000
we
a
asked
day.
you if they'd
But
reached
those are
out to the
attached all
college
kinds of
yet.
Still haven't.
No,
You
Well, I'll
know.
just pass this on to, we'll just table it for now, and I'll just tell her
Yeah.
that our attorney has to.
so another agenda item I have, I wanna know from our attorney, who's responsible for cleaning out, the stormwater drains? Who is responsible for behind the house on Maple Street? Are we responsible for picking up people's trash, or is the town?
Is it our, what is our right of way
Oh,
through
what
there? Do
it-
we have,
The
Well, I
residents-
know what the right of way is.
The
I-
residents that live there,
Yes,
or
yes,
Scott and his
Cause
guys.
we own a house there.
Yeah.
Aren't they responsible for keeping that cleaned out, or signs that I begged for 2 years? Saying don't dump?
So they normally clean out the ones over on Hickory, don't they?
Well, they don't behind
Hickory
here.
didn't have anything over
Or
there.
Gray Street down in there.
And they can't say they
Gray Street
don't
has
have the
metal,
right of
the
way,
concrete.
because I
I've
had
never
the
seen 'em
town
line
come
gray.
before we put
Gray
our fence
butts,
up.
I mean, those two yards butt up to each other.
Oh, I'm
Hickory and
thinking out-
gray.
I'm thinking out front.
Yeah, between them, the problem, I used to
out
live over
front
there
by
too,
the
and the
mailboxes.
problem you run into is even if
I've
this
never
guy
seen 'em
keeps
over
his
there.
clean, and I cleaned out mine and the neighbors
I
on
didn't
each
know if
side
they
of
did
me.
or not.
Yeah.
Kept the
I've
ditches
not seen
nice,
'em.
but
You
there's
guys,
one guy
let's
down
listen.
here that wouldn't allow me on his property to do it.
Well, we've got, the
But
town
I'm an
came and,
individual.
the town came and measured the easement. Scott did that. He said, don't go farther than this so we can get down there. But yet, we're having to ditch out the tires, the wood, the grass clippings, when we're paying a stormwater fee. Who's responsible? I wanna know from our attorney.
I would assume the homeowners were responsible for all their property, even if there was a
This isn't
right
our,
of way.
this
but
isn't our property.
It is though. You
It's the
read your deed-
town's.
No, it's a right of way. Right of way doesn't mean it's town property.
Well, then why were we told don't go beyond this with
It's
your
like
fence?
a right of way down the road. You can only build so close to the road, but the town doesn't own your front yard.
No, I'm not saying that. This is behind our
Right.
fence.
Even like, that's a utility easement or
Yeah.
right of way or,
Yeah.
but
Well-
the town doesn't own the property.
If
but
our if our
The lawyer
public,
does need to answer that question.
yeah, I wanna know.
Okay.
It's about like the
Yes.
sidewalks out your front yard. So still gotta maintain them, right?
Yeah,
Is what you're
like,
Yeah, but
if there's a
it-
sidewalk in front of your house, you still own to the street. Your property line goes to the street.
Well,
You're responsible out to the street.
come over and I'll show you our marking where the town marked that we don't own. And we don't own so many feet before
I think where
that.
you're getting mistaken on that is that he told you can't build past that point.
Yeah,
You
because,
can't build on the right of way.
because they wanna be able to get their
There's a
mowers
utility
and stuff
easement
down
and
there.
stuff.
Yeah,
You can't build on an easement or a right of way.
So if
A
Duke,
permanent
if
structure.
Duke
Won't get a
Energy,
loan.
if the line goes down in front of my house, am I responsible?
No, not utility.
The utility, yeah.
This is a utility, this is stormwater.
Yeah.
We're paying a stormwater fee. I wanna hear from our attorney who
Yeah,
is
he'd be the
responsible.
one to answer it, but
Yeah,
If we're responsible, that's fine.
yep.
Just wanna know.
Okay. Do we have anything else?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Oh, Kobe, did you have anything?
I had on there with the announcements, we have the public hearing for the budget, October 7th at our next meeting.
At our next meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
And it'll be advertised and,
yeah.
yeah,
And Ball State would like to present briefly, because the next night they wanna have a community meeting to talk about what they've
Okay.
come up with.
So October
Ball State's on
7th,
the
but-
agenda?
They would like on the agenda for the
Okay.
7th to make a presentation, cause we wanna make sure you all see
right,
what they,
before,
before, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Agenda.
All right.
So if we have changes, they're gonna have time to do it.
No. Yes.
Okay.
They'll have time to do it in
Yeah.
the narrative, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor say
Yes.
aye.
I have a quick question. That survey for the
Yeah.
Ball State Committee, if I have suggestions, would it be best to put
So
them
a
in my
blister
survey
is,
comments or just in?
you know, just an email.
Like a turning
with-
lane.